And hello again, everybody. I'm Chris Mooneyham, and welcome to this week's TCA All Sports Report. Brought to you, as always, by Fox 5 Atlanta, 680 The Fan, and, of course, the Touchdown Club of Atlanta. Again, I'm your host, Chris Mooneyham. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you had a great Labor Day holiday. And, by the way, want to remind you, coming up this Monday is our first meeting at 103 West in Buckhead. 103 West, for those of you new members out there, is the name of the restaurant that we'll be meeting at, I think 3 times this year, if memory serves, having gone now down through the schedule. Remember, you can find the schedule at touchdownclubofatlanta.com. That's touchdownclubofatlanta.com. Our first meeting, our first luncheon down at 103 West on West Paces Ferry. I think it's right there at East Andrews as well. The Atlanta History Center is basically right across the street if you need a landmark to help you find it. But anyway, 103 West in Buckhead on Monday, September 14th at noon. We'll start the festivities. We'll start eating a little bit. We'll introduce our award winners, our back, linemen, and coaches of the first couple of weeks of this season. I'm about to go through week 2 for you here in just a moment. And then we'll hear from the legendary head coach, the very honest and gregarious, if you will, a guy who is no stranger to talking himself, Barry Switzer, a national champion. Barry Switzer will be on hand for our meeting September 14th, Monday at noon, 103 West in Buckhead. And of course, more details on how you can purchase tickets and become a member if you're thinking about it at touchdownclubofatlanta.com. Okay, let's start with our back of the week this week. And if you take in 680 The Fan's Nally Lexus of Roswell Friday Night Football every Friday night, you get to hear myself and Chip Yagi, Chad Potier, and then, of course, for the postgame show, Steve West joins us. We spent a lot of time last week when St. Pius took on Woodward Academy talking about Evander Holyfield's son, Elijah. For those of you who may not know, Elijah is one of the top running backs in the entire country, regardless of state or classification or class. He plays for Woodward Academy. The 5'11", 204-pound senior from Woodward went for 18 carries for 183 and 4 scores against a really good St. Pius defense this past weekend. Most importantly, he started the game rough. Had a fumble on the opening drive of the ball game. It was something that we talked about a lot during our halftime show. Fumbled, I think, his first carry of the ball game, if memory serves. But he kept his composure, kept himself together. A couple of drives later, I think 2 drives later, on their third drive of the ball game, he went something like 60-plus yards for the opening score of the ball game for Woodward. Got them into the ball game at 10-7. And again, he went on to score 4. The last 2 coming in each of the 2 overtimes, and they won 36-29. The game was tight the entire way, and again, Holyfield's 2 touchdowns in overtime put the ball game out of reach. Elijah was coming off of an earlier injury where he did not play in the opener against Decatur, so that was his first action of the season. And of course, as many of you out there watching today know, on Friday, before his first ball game of the year against one of the best teams that they will face all year, he committed to the University of Georgia. What a day. What a day for Elijah Holyfield. Okay, our Lineman of the Week award this week goes to Patrick Farley, Patrick Farley, 6'2", 280, the lineman from Walton High School in East Cobb. Walton battled Lassiter in the East Cobb Super Bowl, as many people call it, and walked away with a 34-20 victory over in Raider Valley. Walton averaging 500 yards of offense through their first 3 games of the year, and they've been one of the really surprise, heartwarming stories so far in the early going. Walton 3-0 in this 2015 season. Brad Walsh, who sent me the listing of the players of the week, and I want to make sure I quote him here. Brad Walsh, our resident historian at the Touchdown Club of Atlanta, says, and I'm quoting now, watching film of the Raider offensive line and Patrick Farley, it is clear they play hard and with an edge, allowing holes to open and passing lanes to be clear for explosive plays and big numbers, end quote. Very well said. And they have a very, very big ball game coming up this week as well. We'll talk a lot about it in our pregame show on 680 The Fan for the Nally at Lexus of Roswell Friday night football broadcast. I think we're going to be on 1230 and 1340 this week, but we're going to talk a lot about Walton and Etowah. Walton versus Etowah. If they can win that ball game, Walton may have already sewed up a playoff berth because Etowah is certainly one of the favorites inside of that region. Patrick Farley, our TCA lineman of the week. And finally this week, Jason Carrera from Meadow Creek High School is our coach of the week. Coach Carrera, let me start here. The Mustangs opened their home schedule with a win over Rockdale County Friday night and closed with a resounding 43-18 victory. Now, why is that victory so important? First of all, Coach Carrera and his staff are in the first year of this program, and Meadow Creek is well known for being one of the really downtrodden programs in this state's history. Last year, Rockdale, early in the year, beat Meadow Creek 58-0. So that's quite a turnaround from 58-0 last year to 43-18 this year between the two same opponents. And of course, it was Meadow Creek's fourth victory, only their fourth victory in the last 10 years. Many of you probably have already heard about how improbable the victory was for Meadow Creek throughout many of your other local media outlets. This was really some kind of a victory. Remember, Meadow Creek has, if not the longest, one of the longest losing streaks in state history. And again, over the last 10 years, only 4 victories. It's really quite hard to believe. Coach Carrera, his staff, and the administration are committed to the future and building a winning culture and program, says Brad Walsh. It's for all of these reasons we honor Jason Carrera as our coach of the week. And remember, all of these gentlemen, including the gentleman from last week in our Week 1 honors, will be given their awards this week, September 14th at 103 West in Buckhead. Until next time, I'm Chris Mooneyham for the TCA All Sports Report.